All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am doing something a little different today. I'm going to do cardio and talk. So, bear with me while I get my feet in the pads, which I think are. You know what? Screw it. No pads. So, just got back from the Arnold. It was fun. First time there in a decade, actually. So it was vastly different in 2016, and holy crap, let me tell you, it was a lot of people, a lot. And if you're not a, let's say, extroverted individual, if you're not somebody who likes crowds, highly recommended to stay away. It's you're how do I wear this? About like 2 o'clock, after my wife and we got lunch, we came back in, and I shit you not, we're just shuffling through. It's traffic jam after traffic jam full of people. And hell, the Young LA booth got shut down, so that's crazy. I mean, shout out to Young LA for being that popular, but I'm not the biggest fan of Young LA. That's just my personal preference. But, oh my God. So, today, today's conversation, like I said, might be a little different. It's I want to talk about decision making and how that relates to, honestly, everything I've talked about prior to this. Really, like, especially balance and yada 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 yada, and go on and on. Now, let me preface again, that freaking word I can't say for crap. Let me preface by saying, when you watch these videos, especially if you watch them all the way through, this 7 to 15 minute snippet of said conversation that I formulate on the spot authentically is a very minuscule portion of, let's say, my knowledge on said topic, my ability to articulate said topic, so on and so forth. So don't take what I say, for the love of God, with a grain of salt. Take what you want out of it and apply it to yourself. Again, I'm not here to motivate, I'm not here to be your therapist, none of that. I'm just here to talk, dude. That's it. Just here to talk. If you want to listen. So, decisions. First off, I had to make the decision to come here after a 6-hour drive and continue making content. And with the amount of willpower I had to conjure up to come out here and do this, I'm not even gonna work out. I'm probably just gonna do an active recovery day. But it's a lot to make decisions, and you don't recognize it in the moment. That's why a lot of people they stay on the fence. It's that indecisiveness. It's comfortability. It's complacency. It's not standing your ground and choosing a side. And let me reiterate this by saying the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So when you make a decision, stick by it. Right now, when new information comes to light, when the situation changes and new variables come into play, whether positive or negative, decisions will change, right? The decision you made to start said something might change 10 minutes down the road, 20 minutes down the road, or 20 days. Who knows? No one knows, right? But the point being is that you need to have the ability to make a decision, whether right or wrong, in that time does not matter. Make the decision, because you being able to just say, we're doing this, or yes or no, it allows you to continue for the progress. Whether that progress will hinder you in the long run, that's soon to be told. We don't know. But regardless, it's all about decision making. So let me, right now, in my head, I've heard myself say the word as a filler word probably about 5 different times. I'm starting to keep count. And now I'm making that internal decision to slow down my articulation and to speak to you guys in an intelligent way where I shouldn't be using filler words. I shouldn't be sounding like an idiot, so to speak. But let me continue. So in my position, I manage 2 other individuals, right, in the place that I work. And previously, I was in the military, and with leadership, you want to have a toolbox for leadership. You want to be able to pick and choose what works best given the situation, given the person, given everything, right? There's so many variables in place for you to be able to lead and make decisions. But last week, I wanted to try something new. I told myself, as a leader, it's my job to see the macro view of what's going on here and to make decisions to further progress the organization and further progress motivation, etc., etc. So I took it upon myself to analyze, just for one day, how my colleagues, or if you want to call them subordinates, I don't want to call them subordinates, the guys that I work with that are under me, how do they work without guidance? How do they work without direction, without constant decision making on my part, right? Let me tell you, it didn't really work. A lot of people, they like to be told what to do, think what to do, etc., etc. Funny enough, military is all about being the right place, right time, right uniform. Like, that's essentially it. People hate making these decisions. People hate, it takes up I guess maybe too much brain power. I don't know. Regardless. So after analyzing them for a day and figuring out, okay, they need guidance and direction, let me change up how I motivate them and how I give them tasks and everything else. Because at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to be that dickhead boss. You don't want to have the people underneath you hate you or fear you. You want them to respect you. You want them to be on the same page as you, and you're pushing them to be better and the organization to be better, and they understand that, and it's a fire underneath their ass, like, oh, I'm following this dude, like, he's good, let's do it. But to carry on, what I did was, we had our morning huddle, whatever the hell you want to call it, and from there I laid out the tasks, conditions, and standards for said day. Now, I'm not a micromanager by any stretch of the imagination. I'm going to give you your task, I'm going to do mine, I'm going to fucking go on my merry way. Excuse my French. But within that, throughout the day, they had their tasks, and let's say I caught a lull in said task, or, you can almost see where someone's trying to think and wonder, like, what do I do next? And that wandering around and trying to figure out what to do next, it drags on, to say the least. So I took it upon myself to say, you know what? Let me guide you through the task. I'm not going to micromanage the task. I'm going to say, hey, this is what needs to be done. I'm going to check back in 5 minutes. Cool. Now, check back in 5 minutes. Now it's done. Awesome. Because if I can give you a task, if I can articulate said task correctly, you should be able to know how to do said task. And honestly, I want you to do it by yourself without any help. That's a topic in and of itself. But 5-10 minutes down the road, cool, task done. Now do this. Now do this. Where it's, instead of them thinking, I have to think for them. And I asked them at the end of the day, I was like, did you guys prefer this way of leadership? And they were like, it did help not having to think, okay, what is there to do? It helped time go by faster. It kind of, one of them said it motivated him to just keep going. Like, okay, I see this. And when you're able to connect the dots from the bigger picture, from a macro lens, like, Now you can see this task relates to this one, and that one relates to this one, and this one equals that one, so on and so forth, right? And that's what it takes. Now, that being said, I'm going to circle back, corporate jargon talk, and we're going to talk about decisions. So when you make said decision, I want you, and this could be as a leader, this could be as a father, mother, student, doesn't matter where you are in life, you will always make decisions, unless you're like a 5-year-old, right? Doesn't matter. If you're an adult, you're going to make decisions daily in your life. And decisions, again, can be daunting. They can be paralyzing almost. Paralysis by analysis, almost. So, when you make these decisions, go back to my other video, think about the balancing act of it all. You will, almost every time, have a consequence for said decision. Whether that consequence is positive or negative, up for debate. It's subjective, and time will tell, right? No one truly knows. But recognize that fact, and then stick to it, and then battle those obstacles, those challenges, those demons when they come, and just continue to make decisions. Like, again, you as an individual make decisions, whether it applies to your own life, someone else's life, the things that you want to do, the things you want to collect, anything, right? You know, now that I think about it, this whole video, this whole topic, it's not really decisions, it's kind of leadership in a small minuscule way. So instead of this content, or this video being about decisions, let's just continue on about leadership for the next 2 minutes, right? And I'm going to toot my own ego a little bit. When I was in college, I had a leadership class for sports management. And funny enough, I got A+, but right in the beginning of the class, like first week of the semester and the syllabus week, my professor, who was known to be a hard ass, he asked a question. Specifically, I'm trying to remember, how do you motivate the people underneath you to keep going, right? And we were supposed to write like a 30-minute essay on it at the end of the class, and we tried to answer that question. My answer was having the emotional intelligence to know the needs and wants of your guys, and with that, you continue to raise the standard of excellence inside the workplace. Now, when you continue to raise the standard, you can't just expect your guys to meet that standard. You, as the leader, have to not only meet that standard, but you have to continually exceed it every single day. The people underneath you have to see that you're willing to make those decisions. You're willing to make those sacrifices. You're willing to do what needs to be done for the greater good, right? Even if it means, end of the day exhaustion. Even if it means I'm a little sore, I'm a little sweaty, whatever. You just gotta do what needs to be done. And that's what's motivating. Hey, this guy's doing it. My so-called boss, my so-called leader, my manager, whatever you want to call it. If he can do it, I can do it. And then once those standards and expectations are concretely met on a consistent basis, then you raise the bar a little bit, and you keep raising it. And as you'll come to find out, once those standards are met, you have created yourself a new baseline. And those new baselines create wonders inside the workplace. Now everyone understands that is the bare minimum requirement that needs to be done, regardless of the situation, regardless of the task. Right? If you have the bare minimum, even if that bare minimum is a lot. So, now, again, leaders, they can be a hit or miss. Leaders can be crappy. Leaders can be great. It is up to not the leader to be a good leader, but the people that he leads. to show the rest of the world, like, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. Because at the end of the day, as a leader, you are at the bottom of the barrel. You are the one making the decisions, sure. You're the one in the so-called spotlight, sure. But you go down with the ship. I want you people to remember that whole captain goes down with, yes, that is leadership. You are the first one in, last one out. You are the one doing all the hardest tasks. You are the one putting one foot in front of the other and continuing moving the standard, raising the bar, whatever you want to call it. So find yourself a leader like that, or become the leader that you want to be, or be under, right? Now, don't chase leadership. Do not chase it, because it's a weird look. Like, I don't want to manage people. No, I want nothing to do with you, dude. Like, you have to. It is a humble decision to say yes to a leadership spot, and when you say yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have earned it. Now, I believe it's been like 15 minutes. I could probably keep going for an hour on this topic. So I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna probably continue this, maybe do some active recovery. Who knows? Maybe I'll go home. I haven't decided yet. Again, on the fence decision making. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Anabolic. Deuces.